Are you learning English? Great! Here we learn through stories. They are simple and interesting. You can improve English while learning knowledge. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started. How to becoming fluent in English. Many people want to be good at English. I remember when I was young, I wanted to speak English well, but I was shy and made lots of mistakes. Then a teacher told me, if you practice every day, you can become fluent. That changed my life. Fluency is like growing a tree. You plant a seed, water it, and give it sunshine. Over time, the tree grows big and strong. The same is true for learning English. One day, a student came to me and said, I want to speak English, but I forget the words. I told her, don't worry. Fluency is about practice, not remembering every word. She asked, how can I practice? I said, you can practice by talking to friends, listening to stories, or singing songs. Practice all day long. When I was in school, I loved listening to stories. My teacher read to us, and I repeated the words. At first, I was slow, but I got faster. I learned new words and felt more confident. Another student asked, is fluency just about speaking fast? I said, no, it's about speaking clearly so others can understand you. You don't have to be fast, just confident. There was a boy in my class who spoke very fast, but no one could understand him. I told him, slow down and speak clearly. He did, and soon everyone could understand him. Fluency is like a journey. You take small steps and enjoy the trip. Many students were afraid to speak at first, but with practice, they became fluent. The secret to fluency is listening. Listen to people speaking English, to stories, songs, and conversations. The more you listen, the more you learn. I knew a girl who loved music. She listened to English songs every day and soon started singing along. Her fluency improved because she listened and repeated. It's also important not to be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are good teachers. I had a student who was scared of making mistakes. She didn't want to speak because she thought others would laugh. I told her, mistakes are lessons. Don't worry about them. One day, she decided to speak in class. She made mistakes, but she didn't stop. After a while, she got better and wasn't afraid anymore. Fluency is also about thinking in English. Try to think in English even when you're alone. I had a student who always translated from his language to English. This made him slow. I told him, think in English. He tried, and slowly he became more fluent. Another student loved to talk, but would switch to his native language in the middle of a sentence. I told him, stay in English. If you don't know a word, explain it in English. This helped him stay focused, and soon he spoke only in English. Reading is another way to get fluent. When you read, you see how sentences are made and learn new words. I used to read simple books and write down new words. Then I tried to use them in sentences. This helped me remember the words and use them when I spoke. One student came to me with a book and said, I read it, but I didn't understand everything. I told her, "That's okay. Keep reading, and you'll understand more." She read every day, and after a while she understood much more. Her fluency improved because she kept reading. It's also good to listen to yourself. Record yourself speaking, then listen to the recording. Find areas to improve. I had a student who did this every day. She recorded herself reading a story and listened to it. This helped her become more aware of her speech and more fluent. Practicing with a friend is another great way to get fluent. Two of my students decided to speak only in English with each other. They helped each other with words they didn't know. Over time, both became very fluent. They learned from each other and had fun. Using English in real-life situations helps too. Try speaking English at the market or with friends. The more you use the language, the more fluent you become. I had a student who worked in a shop and decided to speak only in English with his customers. At first, it was hard, but he became more confident and fluent. Being curious is important too. When you hear a new word, find out what it means and use it in your next conversation. I had a student who was very curious. He always wanted to know the meanings of new words and use them as much as possible. His vocabulary and fluency grew. Having a goal is also important. Ask yourself, why do I want to be fluent in English? A clear goal keeps you motivated. I knew a student who wanted to travel to an English-speaking country. She practiced speaking English every day to be ready for her trip. Her goal helped her become fluent. Enjoying the process is key. Fluency takes time, but if you enjoy it, it becomes easier. I had a student who loved watching English movies. He watched one movie every night. At first, he used subtitles, but after a while, he didn't need them. He had fun and improved his fluency. Repeating things helps too. The more you repeat, the better you get. I had a student who loved repeating sentences. He heard something in class and repeated it many times. This helped him remember the sentences and use them in conversations. Talking to different people helps with fluency. Everyone speaks differently. When you talk to different people, you learn different ways of speaking. I had a student who was shy and only spoke to me. I encouraged him to speak to other students. At first, he was nervous, but he became more comfortable and fluent. Speaking about topics you love helps too. When you talk about something you enjoy, the words come more easily. I had a student who loved football. He talked about football every day, and this helped him become more fluent. It's okay to not know everything. Sometimes you might not know a word. Try to explain it in another way. I had a student who always wanted to know the exact word. If he didn't know it, he stopped speaking. I told him, if you don't know the word, describe it. This helped him keep the conversation going. A student once asked me, "How long will it take to become fluent?" I said, "It depends on how much you practice. Some people get fluent in a few months, while others take longer. The important thing is to keep practicing. Practicing in front of a mirror can help. Seeing yourself speak makes you more aware of your expressions and gestures. I had a student who was shy and didn't like speaking in front of others. I told her to practice in front of a mirror. This helped her become more confident and fluent. If you forget a word while speaking, don't stop. Keep talking. Sometimes the word will come to you later. If not, use another word. This helps you stay calm and not worry about forgetting words. Taking breaks is important too. Sometimes your brain needs rest. After a long day of practice, it's good to relax. I knew a student who practiced all the time. She became very tired and frustrated. I told her, take a break, relax. Come back tomorrow with a fresh mind. After taking breaks, she felt better and continued to improve. Using the language in creative ways helps too. You can write a short story, sing a song, or make a video. I had a student who loved writing. She wrote short stories in English every day. This helped her practice new words and sentences. Soon she started reading her stories aloud and became more fluent. Teaching others is another way to practice. When you teach, you learn even more. I had a student who was very fluent. She helped her friends who were not as fluent. She taught them new words and practiced speaking with them. This helped her friends and made her even more fluent. Having a routine helps too. Set a time every day to practice speaking English. I had a student who practiced every morning for 30 minutes. This was his routine, and it helped him become more fluent. A routine helps you stay disciplined and practice regularly. Being patient with yourself is important. Fluency takes time. I had a student who was very impatient. He wanted to be fluent quickly, but when he didn't see progress, he became frustrated. I told him, be patient. You are making progress, even if it's slow. He listened and continued to practice. Over time, he saw improvement and became more confident. Fluency is not just about speaking, it's also about listening. When you listen carefully, you learn how to respond. I had a student who was a good listener. He listened carefully before he spoke. This made his responses clear and thoughtful. Listening is a big part of becoming fluent. Staying positive is important too. Learning a language can be challenging, but a positive attitude makes it easier. I had a student who was always positive. Even when she made mistakes, she smiled and tried again. This positive attitude helped her stay motivated and eventually become fluent. Being open to new experiences helps too. Sometimes you need to step out of your comfort zone. I had a student who was comfortable speaking in class, but shy outside of class. I encouraged her to speak to people outside of school. She was nervous at first, but she became more confident and fluent. Learning from others who are fluent helps too. Watch how they speak and listen to their intonation. I had a student who admired a famous English speaker. She watched his videos and tried to imitate his style. This helped her improve her own fluency. Fluency is a mix of many things: practice, patience, listening, speaking, and making mistakes. Each part is important. I told my students, fluency is like cooking a meal. You need different ingredients and mix them well. This helped them understand that every part of learning is important. Celebrating small victories is important too. Every time you learn a new word or speak without hesitation, celebrate it. I had a student who celebrated every small achievement. This made her feel proud and motivated her to keep going. Celebrating small victories helps you see your progress and stay motivated. If you get stuck while speaking, it's okay to pause and think. Take a deep breath and then continue. This advice helped a student stay calm when he faced challenges while speaking. He learned to manage his pauses, and his fluency improved. Practicing what you learn is important too. If you learn a new word today, try to use it tomorrow. I had a student who learned a new word every day and used it in a sentence. This helped him remember the words and use them naturally in conversation. Learning from your surroundings is helpful too. Sometimes you can learn English from signs, posters, and menus. I had a student who loved to explore the city. Every time he saw an English sign, he read it and tried to understand it. This helped him learn new words and phrases that he could use in conversation. Being curious about the culture behind the language helps too. English is spoken in many countries, and each country has its own way of speaking. I had a student who was very interested in British English. He watched British shows and learned about their culture. This helped him understand different ways of speaking and made him more fluent. Fluency is not just about words, it's also about body language. When you speak, your body language adds meaning to your words. I had a student who was very good with body language. Even when he spoke simple sentences, his body language made him seem more fluent. This helped him communicate more effectively. Challenging yourself is good too. Try to speak about a topic you don't know well. This helps you learn new words and ideas. I had a student who loved sports, but decided to talk about science. At first it was difficult, but with time he learned new words and became more fluent in discussing different topics. Being relaxed helps too. When you're relaxed, your words flow more easily. I had a student who was very tense when speaking. I told him to take deep breaths before he spoke. This helped him relax, and his fluency improved. Asking questions is another way to practice. When you ask questions, you start conversations. I had a student who was very good at asking questions. He asked his classmates about their day, hobbies, and interests. This practice helped him become more fluent because he was always engaged in conversations. Reflecting on your progress is important too. Every few weeks, take a moment to think about how much you've improved. I had a student who kept a journal. Every week, he wrote about his progress in learning English. This helped him see how far he had come and motivated him to keep going. Being flexible is important too. Sometimes you may need to change the way you say something to make it clearer. I had a student who was very good at this. If someone didn't understand him, he changed his sentence until they did. This skill made him more fluent because he could adapt to different situations. Staying connected with other learners is helpful too. When you learn with others, you can share your experiences and learn from each other. I had a student who joined an English club. Every week, She met with other learners and practiced speaking. This helped her stay motivated and improve her fluency. Setting small goals is important too. Instead of saying, "I want to be fluent," say, "I want to learn 5 new words this week." I had a student who set small goals every week. These goals were easy to achieve, and each time she reached one, she felt more confident. Over time, these small goals added up, and she became more fluent. Being persistent is important too. Even when it's difficult, don't give up. I had a student who struggled with English for a long time. He wanted to give up many times, but he kept going. One day, he realized that he was speaking more fluently than before. His persistence paid off. Revisiting what you've learned is good too. Go back to old lessons and review them. I had a student who reviewed her notes every month. This helped her remember what she had learned and made her more confident in using the language. Staying open-minded is important too. Sometimes you may hear different ways of saying the same thing. I had a student who was very curious about different dialects of English. He learned how people from different places spoke. This made him more adaptable and fluent in different situations. Enjoying the language is important too. Find something you love in English, whether it's a book, a movie, or a song. I had a student who loved English poetry. She read poems every day and tried to understand them. This made her more passionate about the language and helped her become more fluent. Asking for feedback is important too. When you speak, ask someone to tell you how you did. I had a student who always asked me for feedback after speaking. This helped him see where he could improve and what he was doing well. Feedback is a valuable tool in becoming more fluent. Using flashcards is another way to improve fluency. Write down new words on flashcards and review them regularly. I had a student who made flashcards for every new word he learned. He reviewed them every day. This helped him remember the words and use them in conversation. Being comfortable with silence is important too. Sometimes you need a moment to think before you speak. I had a student who was afraid of silence. He thought he had to speak immediately. I told him, "It's okay to pause and think." This helped him feel more comfortable and speak more clearly. Learning phrases instead of just individual words is helpful too. When you learn a phrase, you learn how words work together. I had a student who focused on learning phrases. This made her sentences more natural and fluent. Being curious about the world is important too. When you learn about different cultures and ideas, you have more to talk about. I had a student who loved to learn about history. The road to fluency is not always easy, but it's always rewarding. Just like a river flows steadily towards the ocean, your efforts will carry you closer to your goal. Fluency is not just about speaking with ease, but about connecting with the world and sharing your unique voice. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, is a bridge to new understanding and new friendships. So keep learning, keep speaking, and let your voice be heard. And now, I have a question for you. What inspires you to keep going on your journey to fluency? I would love to hear your thoughts.